Okay, my wife has the laptop, and I've been using the webcam on the laptop to do my videos. So I'm going to try and do this one on my little tablet, and we'll see how that works out. Over here, well, small water. This is a holster, and I've decided on how I want my pattern to go. I'm going to do a basket weave in here. I think that'll look pretty nice. I'm going to dye it black, so I went ahead and drew on it with ink pen, because once it's dyed, you'll never see it. This is the leather for the flute pouch. I'm going to move this up here. This is what's called milled vegetable tan. It's the same vegetable tan leather, but it's milled to make it nice and soft and pliable. And the way it's going to work, you just unfold all this stuff. This is going to be the main body of the pouch, and he wants a pocket up here, so that's going to be folded over and stitched. And then on the front here, see, I got arrows on it. This is going to be for the two flutes. It's going to have a line down the middle, so it'll have two pockets for flutes. And then he wants another pocket that comes across the front, folds over the bottom, and up the back. Actually be more like more or less like that. Then this will be the flap, and there's going to be a strap that's sewn to the back here. So you get the idea of how all that's going to go together. And as soon as I make some kind of a jig or something to stitch it, I'll go ahead and take care of that, because right now he doesn't want it finished. He just wants it just the bare leather. He likes that the way it is. So, you know, just basically stitch it, trim it, and it's done. But right now, I want to work on this one. This is the outer piece. I think I'm turning a little bit too much. This is the outer piece, and this is the liner. So, like I said before, once this is done, I get all the stamping done, get all the dye work done, I'm going to go ahead and fold it over, put in a welt down the side, and stitch that up. And also, as I showed you before, that's going to be like that. Belt loop's going to fold over like that. And then there's going to be a piece that will go across the front, which I haven't cut yet, but I will. That's going to hold the belt loop in place. And that's going to go across right here. And I saw a holster online that was similar to this, and it was black and silver. It looked really nice. So I got myself a concho. I'll go right about there. This strap will have a wider part in the middle, and then I'll put the concho on it. And it'll come out looking really nice. But let me go ahead and do some stamping on it. Alright. Even though I'm going to dye it black and you really won't see water stains or anything on it, I still make it a habit that when I'm wetting leather, to wet the whole thing. Just a good habit to stay in, because if you're going to stain it a color other than black, dye it any color other than black, it will show water stains. Don't want to soak it, just get some moisture on there. And that should do it. Now let me get my pathetic little hunk of granite. It'll work till I get a bigger one. And my little tools. Now the angle of the basket weave on this is going to match the angle of the basket weave on my belt, because I'm making this to match this belt. And my first stamp is basically going to go right in the middle. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a line scribed across right there, and I'm going to follow that line with my first stamp, my first series of stamps actually. I kind of eyeball it in the middle, give it a whack, and there's my first stamp. I did another video on doing a basket weave stamp, but I unfortunately had music playing in the background, and YouTube wasn't too hip on that. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to continue on this for a little while, and I'll be right back. I'll turn the camera back on, and we'll see how much I've progressed. Okay, I've got my line of stamps across the middle, and from that I'm going to build out in either direction. Now I did partial stamps on the ends, and when I come by with my border tool, that'll fill up that area. I'll show you. Okay, and on that one you can see how I bridged the two legs of the previous stamp with the next stamp. I'll do it again here and up here. Now you notice that I'm hitting it twice. What I do is I line up my stamp in the two legs that are there previously. I give it a whack, tilt my stamp over a little bit, and give it a whack on the other side, and that gives me a good deep impression. There you go, you get the idea of how I'm building that up. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some more of that, and we'll be back. Okay, I've got my stamping done, and now I'm ready to do my border. See, while I'm stamping it, I'm checking it with my border tool to see how close I need to get. And once I'm satisfied with it the way it is, then I go ahead and figure I'm done with that part. Then it's time to do the border. Let me check up here. Like right there, that can stand to have a little. When you get to the edges, you just take your tool and you lean it over and give it a whack. So you don't really get that full stamp because you don't want to go over your edges. That's unsightly and somewhat unprofessional looking. Well, I'm going to wet this down a little bit and then get started with that border stamp. Honest, this is just a little bit. Like I said, like to get in that habit of wetting the whole thing. Even though I'm dyeing it black, like I said, I just like to keep in the habit. Now I'm going to start in the corner. I'll start right down here. Oops, wrong way. And right up here. And I'm going to connect those two. Now my idea is to make it so it looks exactly even. And my ends meet up nice and evenly. In fact, at this point I'm going to stop and see how close I am. Just mark it with a stamp. And I have a little gap there, so I'm going to stretch it out just a little bit. To try and close that space a little bit at a time. And that should do it. And there's that side done. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this, and we'll be back. Okay. That's the finished basket weaving on it. Okay. And you can see up here where the snap's going to go. I didn't want to just do a basket weave and put a hole in it. So I kind of contoured it around the snap a little bit. I thought that would look kind of cool, kind of snazzy. Well, the next step is going to be to dye this and then go ahead and set that snap. So, but first I'm going to let this dry. A lot of people dye their leather. They actually dampen their leather when they dye it. I prefer it dry. And actually, I'm going to take some alcohol and clean all the oils from my hands and stuff off of it before I dye it. So we'll be back to see that there then.